Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bullpen. First time in the Bullpen today, we have comedian Jobob, Turning Point USA contributor, and prior to joining that team, Jobob dedicated nearly a decade of his career to political consulting, communications, and various political consulting jobs, and is known for his sarcasm, wit, and comedy. All right. According to your bio, you just want to be a less horrible golfer. I think you and I can actually start off with agreeing to that. How's your game now, man?
So since the time of writing that, I'm happy to report not any better. I've tried the expensive clubs. I've tried it all. It just I will shank every third shot right up into the not fairway.
Well, listen, man, it's all psychological, brother. It just may not be for you. All right, we're gonna chop it up about VP Kamala Harris, maybe a little bit of strategy, definitely some of the rhetoric that's coming from the right about her credentials, her qualifications to be VP. I don't want to presume what you know or believe about these dynamics related to VP Harris. So if you would give us your sentiment, I would then opine.
Well, so the sense of it is, geez, there's a lot of stuff to unpack. First things first, it is fascinating how this kind of unfolded. The rhetoric around Joe Biden is a hero for getting out of the race. I understand where that's coming from. I don't agree with it at all. If he was actually a hero, he would have gotten out a year ago and allowed for the democratic process to take place in the Democratic Party and pick a nominee based on how they always do it instead of what's being done right now. As far as Kamala Harris goes, there's a lot of policy issues that I have a great deal of trouble with, and I hope the conversation focuses more around that than really anything else.
Yeah, let's go to the pick. I agree with you. I've said this on record. Biden should have been a one-term president, period. He said he was going to be a transitional leader, which meant if he did it the way he said upon election, that you would have had an open and robust primary. And I believe that open and robust primaries create significant earned media. They strengthen a candidate's resolve, and whoever emerges as the strongest political figure to move the party forward. So I believe that. I've always believed that. Going back to the reality of what a political party is. These are companies. I tell my college students this all the time. The Democratic Party is a company. The Republican Party is a company. They have a board. Let's call it the executive committee. When you vote in the primary, you're basically making a recommendation. Delegates then have to personify your vote at the national convention, and then it is solidified as so. And this is part of the board rule. These are charter mandates. And so while the operation is not normative in modern context, these are the policies set forth by each party. They always have the right to broker during the convention their own candidate. And when Trump was president, there was no, I know people say we need to always have open primaries, and I agree, but Republicans don't do it either when they have a president who's seeking re-election. So I get it. It's unfortunate when Democrats said Biden needs to step down. They came up with this hero message. That's politics. So you get that. That's just the political spin. That political spin is going to be there. What policies do you, I guess, either attract to when it relates to GOP movement and the Trumpian movement, and which policies of Kamala Harris do you disagree with? And do you believe that they're making a mistake by making this about her race and gender?
Well, if to answer that last part first, if that is the sole focus of it, yeah, I think that is a mistake. Reason being, because I don't think that resonates with the American people. What I do think resonates with the American people as far as conservative policies is not blowing out the treasury, spending all of this money that we don't have on things that we can't afford and probably don't need, which again is a policy discussion. Obviously the bloated federal government spending all the money that it has, I think is a huge contributor to global inflation. Yes, there are other variables and other factors, but I think that's a big one. You've got your open border policies that have had, 20 million illegal immigrants come into the country, which has decimated a lot of big blue cities such as New York and Chicago, just to name a few. Those I think are the big kind of kitchen table topics that I think people are gonna start voting on, that are going to vote on when it comes to November. I would love to see the conservative side of the aisle focus more in on those. Just from a political strategist standpoint, when you have the issue, hammer the issues. And if you don't have the issues, you hammer the desk, which I think is an old political saying. Unfortunately, I believe the conservatives have the issues right now.
Jobob, let me tell you the problem with that. And this is the reason why they're making it about race and gender more so than about politics and policy.
Who's doing that? I'm not seeing a bunch of people doing that. Specifically, not Trump, who said she said she's a crazy person, but he would say that about anybody.
Well, he called it garbage. But the people that I'm talking about,
that's not a race or gender thing.
Well, no. I'm talking about the people who are. And so obviously you're not looking at the news. So Fox News, Jobob, I'm going to tell you now, dear brother. Fox News, their entire slate continues to refer to her as DEI Kamala Harris. They literally put it as a branding mechanism.
But is she not?
Hold on, dear brother. I'm going to answer the question for you, and then we can get into a back and forth about it. So when you say that it resonates with individuals like myself and others who have worked their ass off to become exactly what we have become today, productive individuals who give back to the community and work hard. It says you are minimized because automatically they assume you're a DEI hire because of your skin color or because perhaps of your gender. It just doesn't bode well for them, but this is their messaging routine. In addition to that, you have a clip of JD Vance saying cat ladies, childless cat ladies, which by the way, once again, that pissed off conservative women. McCain came out, said she was upset by this message. And then you have liberals, white women, said the exact same thing. This guy has pissed off both of those categories at one time, which is very rare. And then when you talk about political strategy, the GOP returning back to some policy of fiscal conservatism, how can they do so when it was their guy and the guy they have chosen again, Donald Trump, who ran up a record deficit prior to COVID-19, prior to the pandemic? He already had a record set of 23,500 per capita debt per human being in the United States of America based on his policies prior to COVID. So if you try to make the political argument of economy, you can't win that argument when you have the guy who is your heir apparent and the one you selected for the throne being the man who raised your national debt and created your deficit to a record level of any modern president. So how are you going to make that argument?
Because there's a lot there. First things first, the JD Vance cat thing was like a 3-year-old Tucker Carlson clip, which probably should have said that.
But he did not denounce it, nor has he changed his mind about it, dear brother. It is a current context.
Yeah, okay, so then look at it from a political strategist standpoint. This is mostly an online quote unquote controversy. And if he goes out and makes a big statement, the chances that he's going to actually draw more eyeballs to people who haven't seen it, like from a political strategy standpoint, it doesn't
when you say
really
it's an online commentary, Jobob, what does that mean?
Sorry, what?
When you say it's an online commentary, what does that mean?
Well, you got to remember from an electoral standpoint, most people aren't paying attention to the tiny little nuances and jabs on Twitter. Just because it has a bunch of.
That's not true, Jobob. You need to look at your latest data. 83%.
I read political campaigns for a very long time.
Dear brother, and let me go back to something, Jobob. We can go. Hold on one second, Jobob.
Wait, yeah, but
just hold on.
I let you talk.
Just hold on one second, brother. I promise I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond. We can go credential to credential. I was the chief strategist and political director for the Democratic Party for the state. I've done political strategy for 25 years, so we can go credential to credential.
So
83% of individuals today. 83%, brother. Look at Pew Research. You can find it, source me there. 83% of individuals who are participating in this upcoming election receive a significant amount of their news from social media and online sources. 83%. So that's why I challenge your assumption that just because something is online doesn't mean it's ineffective. The echo chamber of the online apparatus garners more views than live television does in this political era. I don't know when was the last time you ran a campaign, your brother, but online commentary and the echo chamber of media and the media presence online has way more impact than the original action of what was said. Go ahead.
Well, here's what I'd say to that is good luck with that. I do think that it does play a role, but to say that it plays this huge outside role in the way that everyday people actually vote, I think is a huge mistake. And I think the biggest testament to that is when Kamala Harris,
a catalyst.
When Kamala Harris ran for president in 2020, she, I think, saw what was going on Twitter at the time, Twitter, which was, I believe, a lefty-run organization, and saw these big, huge issues that were bubbling up and decided to go with healthcare for all and everyone deserves equity, which is policies that people don't actually like, including the Democratic Party, which is why she had to get out of the race before Iowa.
Jobob,
so to say that this is like this big, huge thing that everyone's paying attention to is just factually inaccurate, but you're welcome to do that if you'd like.
We do something on this program and it's called Tell the Truth. And so when you say something like that, I encourage you, I challenge you when you say that the vast majority of Americans disagree, and you quote said policy. Can you source that for me?
Yeah, she got out before the Iowa caucus. I'm not talking about Republicans, Democrats. I'm talking about literally Democrats.
Let's back up for a moment. Let's back up for a moment.
She was doing so bad in the
polls. What are the policies?
Because of her policies that Jobob, Democrats didn't want her.
What are the policies, brother? Which policies did they reject that she believed in?
The healthcare for all. She was really, really big on healthcare.
Okay, so you're saying, so let's go back to your statement because we're adults. Hold on, Jobob. Let's do one at a time, brother. Okay.
So I know, but you take it all the time.
Well, brother, it is my show, and I'm trying to get to a point, and you're filibustering it. So
I'm trying to answer the question. I get
let's just do one at a time, brother. I'm telling you, it's going to be easier that way. All right, and it'll be less harmful to you. So the healthcare for all dynamic, which Kamala Harris subscribed to, you're saying the Democratic Party rejected. However, they then proceeded to elect the man who basically co-authored the healthcare for all legislation, being the vice president of Barack Obama. So the policies between Biden and Harris are the same as it relates to healthcare for all. Biden is the vice president who brought you healthcare for all through the Affordable Care Act, i.e. Obamacare. And you're saying to me that Kamala Harris was rejected because the vast majority of Democrats did not want healthcare for all. You sound dumb as hell, Jobob.
Hold on, do you not know the difference between the Affordable Care Act, which is a farce of a name, by the way, and Medicare for all? Because those are two very different things. And if you don't understand the two differences between those two things, I said Medicare for all. Kamala Harris said Medicare for all. All right, so let's go to Medicare for all. What's the percentage? Equity. She's talking about all of these.
Wait a minute, brother. What's the percentage of Americans that agree with Medicare for all? What's the percentage?
I don't know. I'm telling you,
you just said they rejected it.
Party during her election campaign for president of the United States, she was polling so bad that she had to get out.
Just so you know, it's 78%. 78% of Americans agree with Medicare for all. So you may not know these numbers, all right? I'm trying to help.
You don't know what the difference between Affordable Health Care Act and Medicare for all is. How?
So of course I know the difference, dear brother. I just assumed and misheard. I thought you said healthcare. You said Medicare. That's fine. I just gave you the stat for it. Do you know the stat for any of the things you're talking about? Any one of them?
Okay, so the only stat that I've actually brought up is that 0% of Democrats wanted Kamala Harris to be the president.
Well, that's not true either. Because she did get, wait a minute, brother, 0%?
Do you let anybody talk on this show?
Yes, sir. And I challenge BS when BS is said.
I've talked for maybe 30 seconds.
No, sir, you've BS'd for the vast majority of the time.
Okay, but then you're transitioning into different topics that don't align.
That's what we do. We transition into. You got to keep up, your brother, when you come on this program.
Everyday skirmishes on Twitter, and you're saying yes, they do. And my evidence for that is Kamala Harris.
No, I didn't say yes, they do. I said it has an effect, brother. I said it has an effect.
Nobody denies that it has an effect. Everybody says, yeah, of course it has an effect. What I'm saying is the effect is a ripple in the pond, and you're saying it's a tsunami.
Do you think people elected? No, I didn't say that. You're just lying. Did you suggest that Kamala Harris got 0% of the vote? You do realize she ran on a ticket with Biden. And so when people decided to vote for Biden-Harris ticket, Jobob, give me a moment, brother.
No, are you actually, hold on. Do you think that you're saying what you think you're saying? Because I never said on the presidential ticket, when she ran president in 2020, which she did,
I understand
got out in December, which is before the Iowa caucus. That is what I said. Democrats don't want her.
You don't think Democrats want her? I appreciate
they have proven to say that they don't.
Why is it? Okay, let me just ask you a question, brother. Why is it that Biden-Harris ticket defeated Trump?
I mean, how long do you have? There's a litany.
Go ahead. Since nobody wanted her, brother, why did the Biden-Harris ticket defeat Trump? Go ahead.
Dude, I don't know if you're miscalculating things based.
I'm just asking you a question, man. Do you know how to answer?
What I'm trying to get is what you actually understand, what you actually believe. I can't nail that down.
Do you want to answer the question or not, man?
What I'm saying, first of all, do you agree that Kamala Harris ran for president?
Sir, are you going to answer the damn question, sir, or waste my time?
Do you agree that Kamala Harris ran for president?
You're going to answer the question or waste my time, sir.
Okay, so Kamala Harris, just so you know, Kamala Harris did run for president in 2020. Okay. She got out before the Iowa caucus because
a lot of people did, dear brother. A whole lot of people got out before the Iowa caucus. Sir, why is it if everybody is against Kamala Harris, why did the Biden-Harris ticket defeat your candidate Trump? Why?
There's
you got an answer? You got an answer for everything?
Why that is. Are you trying to make the case that the only reason Joe Biden won is because Kamala Harris was attached to him?
Sir, I just asked you a question that you are obviously incapable of answering.
No, I'm just getting yelled at for trying to clarify.
No, I'm getting assertive, sir. Can you answer the question or not, man? I need to let you go.
There was okay, so what your question is assuming is that Kamala Harris is the sole reason that Joe Biden won.
No, it doesn't assume any of that, sir. That's your assumption.
No, you just said that.
No, you're a damn lie. I asked you a question that you refused to answer. Keep up, Jobob. Please.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and repeat the question?
If no one wanted Kamala Harris, why is it that the Biden-Harris ticket, which is always the ticket of president, vice president, how we vote in the United States of America, which means those votes are collected by way of two individuals. One is your president, the other one is.
Do you understand what your question is assuming?
Hold on, brother. You asked me to explain it to you. I'm trying to do a child.
No, but do you understand what your question is assuming? What you're saying is
style so you can understand, Jobob. So do you understand the question?
Okay, so to answer your question,
you didn't understand the question. Do you understand it now?
Whipped up a fervor to hate Donald Trump. I don't think Kamala Harris really had anything to do with it. You're making the argument.
So you don't think Kamala Harris created any level of excitement inside
of that he won? That's a crazy argument.
Well, I'm not making an argument. I'm asking you a question.
You're asking the question framed in the sense of what the argument that you're making.
Jobob, man, listen, just because you talk a lot, it don't make you more right. I
haven't talked this whole time. You keep talking over me and interrupting anytime I try to say anything.
You're literally not even answering the one simple question I posed to you.
I just did several times. I don't know what to tell you.
So what's the answer? Go ahead. I didn't hear you, man. What's the answer?
Because people hated Donald Trump because of the media whipped up fervor. What you're assuming is.
Okay, so the media, it's the media's fault.
I can't get a word in.
No, I'm just clarifying, brother. What you getting upset for? I'm clarifying. You're saying the media.
But here's the thing: is the reason that you're asking the question is because you're trying to say that people wanted Kamala Harris, which by default.
Why do you keep assuming what's in my mind, dear brother? I'm right here in front of you.
Because you're saying it out loud. You hear yourself.
This is my assumption. I think you're unprepared, dear brother, and I'm going to let you go. I think I'm prepared for this debate. So we'll bring you back, read a few books, look at some commentary, come back. Okay, answer the questions. All right, and read some damn research. I would love to talk
for more than 35 seconds next time.
Well, if you got something other than BS to say, I will. I appreciate you being on the show.
I can't talk. You keep talking over me. I don't know if this is how you do it.
I had to ask you a question 7 times.
But I haven't been able to answer any of your questions. Because the second I start talking, you start talking over me. I don't know if this is how you generally run things. I thought this was going to be a substantive conversation. I
thought it was too. I'm really surprised.
I like the fact that Young Turks has this sort of thing going. But if you can't have a conversation because you just go off in a million different directions, what's the point in having the conversation?
I apologize if my directions are a little bit too advanced for you and quick pivoted, but this is how I run my program.
Dude, I will pray for you. Good luck, man.
You believe in white Jesus or black Jesus?
Oh boy.
Which one? White Jesus or black Jesus, brother?
I'm not even going to dignify that question.
All right, I understand. I see where you at. I appreciate you, Jobob. Thank you for being on the show, sir.
All right.